about that prick's face when he showed a
Jerked off in a tissue.
About that prick's face when he showed a gat.
So, which is better, Breaking Bad or The Sopranos? I'm going to tell you right now, I believe that The Sopranos is the better show. Breaking Bad kind of just copied a lot of the things that The Sopranos did, and you don't even realise it until you watch it. For example, the happy birthday scene, or Adriana disappearing, that scene at the start of season 6. But anyways, let's start with the characters. So Tony Soprano, he's more deep, he's more complex than Walter White. Walter White isn't really assessed during the show. We know what he does. We know about him because of his actions, but we don't know anything about his inner feelings or thoughts. Meanwhile, Sopranos is literally about Tony Soprano's inner feelings and thoughts, which I think are a lot more interesting than just, cool scenes of Walter White shooting somebody. We actually get to understand the character. As for his kids are way more interesting than Walter White's kid. I mean, AJ Soprano, he goes through this entire arc of being this innocent little kid to this troublemaker, to this extremely depressed 20-year-old or whatever age he was. And then you have Walter Jr., who has no character traits other than liking breakfast. As for Meadow Soprano, she begins as, a girl with a promising future, and then turns out to be a person who kind of tries to rationalize the mafia's behavior and tries to kind of make excuses for it. These characters are so much more in-depth and well-written compared to Breaking Bad. Skyler is basically just a rehash of Carmela. So both shows are kind of based around a villain, but as for the obvious villains, Sopranos is kind of lacking a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're great villains, Phil Diatardo, Ralphie, all these different villains, but I definitely do think Gus Fring is a lot better than Sopranos villains. Breaking Bad has, a solid one type of villain, he's a solid villain, and then Sopranos has a bunch of kind of minor, not so significant villains. I enjoy the plot of Sopranos so much because it doesn't just show us action, and doesn't just show us cool characters, shooting other characters. It kind of tries to dive deeper into the reason for this happening, and the horrific crimes that take place. Every single episode of Sopranos could be analysed really deeply. And the same could be said for Breaking Bad, but I don't think it's as deep compared to Sopranos. And I really enjoy deep art. I mean, the side characters overall are just way better in every way. And the plot, I think, is... The climax of Breaking Bad, you could say, was better. But I do think the plot of Sopranos was more engaging. Of course, this is all up to interpretation. I mean, I love both shows, but watching Sopranos after watching Breaking Bad really changed my perspective on Breaking Bad and what truly is the greatest show of all time, Sopranos. You know what? Let me know. Which one do you prefer?